Alright, you guys, it's me again, Juan Garcia. Today I'll be road testing the Ford Focus ST. I'm actually headed over to a shop here. It's about 17 minutes. So I figured, hey, why not take one of these out, show you guys how I like it, how it drives, and hopefully I can help anybody out that's considering this vehicle as their next, or just anybody who's curious about it, to be completely honest with you. So, just to start off,
Turn left onto Princess Garden Parkway, then use any lane to turn right onto Annapolis Road.
And
use any lane to turn right onto Annapolis Road, then turn right onto the I-495 North ramp.
I'm gonna start off with saying that originally when I
turn right onto the I-495 North ramp.
Obsessed with the rear wheels. You know, of course, rear wheel drive. And
continue on I-495 North for 3 miles.
Torque steer. That was one of the biggest things that I wasn't so comfortable with, because of course I wasn't used to it. I actually learned how to drive on a Ford E250 that my dad taught me how to drive. It was his work van, and whenever he would go out for lunch, while we were working, I used to work for him in the summers, and he actually taught me how to drive on that. That was rear. And then also after that, I drove his Lincoln Navigator that he had when I was around 17, 18. Then when I was 19, I ended up getting like I said, the Mustang GT in the previous video that I was talking about, but ended up switching it for a BMW Z4. So of course I was really used to the rear wheel drives. When I got into this car, it was it was one of the very few manual transmissions that I drove, one of the first. And when I experienced the torque steer, it was almost scary, because like I said, I wasn't aware of it. I hadn't even set foot into a front wheel drive car or driven one ever, or have seen or known somebody that owned one. So it was pretty confusing, and also I wasn't a huge
in 2 miles. Take the exit on the right.
But one thing that I will tell you guys is that, honestly, when I got into this car, and of course, when you're anything under 2,000 RPM, it doesn't show you anything. You can't even really hear it. As soon as you hit 2,000, it opens up, it gets all throaty, and all power comes in. And that's when it starts getting fun, and when you start experiencing some of that torque steer. Of course, this is stock, and a lot of you are probably thinking, well, wow, I wonder, how about when you tune it? When you tune it, it's probably insane. I mean, I can only imagine all that power going to these same wheels under the same traction control system. So I can only imagine it's probably crazy. And then of course it's gonna depend on how good your tires are as well, but I can only imagine how good and how beneficial it is to actually keep rotating the tires on this car specifically, just because for a fact you're gonna be getting some slippage in the front. You don't really experience that as much on the rear wheel drives, unless of course you want to, but when you're just taking off, when you're launching, you're not skipping and fighting the steering wheel, holding on for dear life. So that's one of the things that I personally didn't like about the front wheel drive cars. But honestly, as you drive this, and I mean, not truly drive it, not just take it out for a little, road test or whatever, but taking turns and everything like that at a very high speed is actually really in control. The dynamic traction control in this is just amazing. I've never experienced anything like it with a front wheel drive car, because a lot of the cars that we sell here are front wheel drive, and believe me, understeer is one of the biggest things about front wheel drive cars. You turn, you're going a little too fast, and you're not turning at all, you're just going straight, which is very dangerous. But with this car, you can get the tail to whip out a little bit. Of course, I haven't done it, but I've definitely seen people do it, and I mean do it well for a long period of time and actually hold the drift on a front wheel drive. So it's quite confusing how they did that, but that is all thanks to the fact that these manufacturers are, they're actually being ran by engineers now, not just salespeople, business people that are trying to make money and don't care about their customers, or even just the emotional part about buying a car. When you drive it and you go, whoa, this is what I want. Something that puts a smile on your face, something that helps you get to work happy. That's the thing about it is, a lot of people.
In a quarter mile,
I was buying
take the exit on the right.
A lot of people were telling me, man, you should go for a little Focus or a Fiesta. It's your first car, and of course, this is coming from older people. I was 19 when
take
I was
exit 23.
And I was like, no, I want a GT. I want a Mustang GT. I was so obsessed with the fact that I wanted a GT. I just love the way this V8
in a quarter
sounds.
mile, use the right two lanes to turn right onto Maryland 201 North.
And I got it, and I ended up, like I said on the last video, the insurance was way too high for me, and I ended up underpaying for it, which was a mistake done by the dealership, and I took that as a way out.
Use the right two lanes to turn right onto Maryland 201 North Kenilworth Avenue.
I'll give it back to you. I don't care. I'm paying too much for insurance right now, and I'm gonna be paying close to $1,000 a month. So, with all the cars that we drive, you feel a lot of understeer, and I never particularly liked it, but this car right here is wonderful. The gears are very smooth, the clutch is smooth. I just stalled it. But yeah, talk about the clutch, right? That was definitely a user error, you guys.
Continue on Maryland 201 North for 2 miles.
I'm actually very happy with the choices that I made. I definitely I wouldn't want to be sitting with $1,000 right now paying. Of course, insurance would have went down eventually, as it did for the BMW. It went from about $292 to $167. But this car right here is just wonderful. The fuel consumption is actually amazing, and I love the fact that they added this feature on there where it tells you where to shift, which is basically, it's just asking you to shift before you go over 2,000. Because once you go over 2,000, like I said, it opens up, and you actually get most of your horsepower and your torque beyond that point. So of course you're gonna use up a lot more fuel. Right now it's doing 99.9 miles per gallon because I'm coasting, I'm just cruising. But the average right now is 13.6. The car only has 12 miles on it. I've been driving it in traffic. But of course, you can get way better gas mileage driving this as a daily. Right now I've only driven it from the dealership to the gas station, back to the dealership, then out here now. So of course, it's only got 12 miles. I got it when I had 4, so I've put 8 miles in it so far, just doing that. And like I said, the fuel consumption is not that bad. I've actually seen people get around 25, 26 on the ST, which is really not that bad. As practical as this car is and as fun as it is, that's a really good bang for your buck. I mean, if people were to ask me, would you choose an ST over an RS? I wouldn't, just because of the practicality of the RS and just, the beautiful machinery that it is. But I would love to have an ST as a daily drive, and I touched on that in the video that I made on the RS, where the fuel consumption was like 9 miles per gallon. But this, it actually does a whole lot better, and it's not as tempting to just floor it and strain it like that. So I think that's one of the great things about this car, is that it's a perfect daily driver, and it's definitely lots of fun. So anybody who's looking for one, I definitely recommend one. And like I said, I'll make another video where it'll be a lot more specific, but for now, this is all you guys are getting. Thank you so much for watching this. You guys have a wonderful day.